Hey, good morning. I'm going to do a quick little video and show you how to go about getting your graphs and then figuring out these population growth rates and everything for what you've got to do for your population project. So what I'm going to do is here is kind of like the end product, but I'm going to take you through step by step here, and then I'm going to take you through step by step on how to go about creating your graphs. So I'm going to go ahead and delete all this stuff. So what I've got is I went on the CIA World Factbook site here, and I found the population growth rate for Kenya, which is 2.2%. I wrote that over here, country name, Kenya, growth rate, 2.2%. I converted that to a decimal, which is 0.022. And then I just move the decimal place one place to the right because I want a 10-year percent, which is 0.22. The 10-year percent comes into play because we're calculating 10-year rates of change so that we can take a starting population and then figure out what that population would be 10 years down the line. For each one of the countries we're doing this for, remember you've got 5 countries, so you're going to do it for 5 of them. You're starting with a population of 50. That's going to be the same for every single one of them. This one right here and this one right here at 50 is going to be the same because that's this population at year 0. The things that are going to change are going to be this number, which is this 1-year rate of change, and then this one, which is a 10-year rate of change. Notice that the decimal after this 1 is the same thing as the decimal over here. The decimal after this one for the 10-year rate of change, the 0.22 corresponds right here with this 0.22. The reason that I put the 1 in here is because I want to take into account what that starting population was. So for Kenya, we know that the growth rate is 2.2%. The percent equivalent for 1 year is 0.022. So I wrote in 1.022 here. I'm just going to highlight that, and I'm going to drag this box all the way down because then it's just going to copy it all the way down. Okay. My 10-year rate of change is 1.22. Okay. Same deal. Here's my decimal. I'm just putting a 1 in front of it because I want to take into account this starting population. So this 10-year rate of change, I'm going to go ahead and drag that down as well. Okay. All right. Now we're going to let Google Sheets kind of take care of all the calculations for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to say this box right here is going to correspond with what we have in this box up here. So we're going to do a function. We're going to type equals. And then I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to click in that box. And then I'm going to press enter. So it says 50. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this box right here. And then I'm just going to drag this down. And basically what that does is it tells Google Sheets we're going to be looking in this box over here to figure out what this value is. We don't have anything there yet because there's no value here. To figure out this value, we're going to do another function. So I'm going to do equals. Then I'm going to click on this starting population, so click on that. And then I'm going to do times, which is shift 8. And then I'm going to click on this 10-year rate of change, 1.22. So then I'm going to hit enter. And it gives me this number right here, 61. And notice that this 61 showed up over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this box. And then I'm going to drag this guy all the way down. And you'll have all these numbers and it'll populate everything. Now, if you have a bunch of like decimals and everything here, what you want to do is you want to click on the column itself. And up here, notice if I click on this button, it increases my decimals. If I click on this button, it decreases my decimals. So we want to decrease the decimals so that they're whole number values because we don't want to be dealing with decimals of people. So this right here is my ending population for each of these years, 0, 10, all the way down through 100. So what you're going to want to do then is you're going to want to go over to another sheet and you're going to want to set something up like this. So notice I have Kenya right here. So year 0 through 100. Here's Kenya, whatever your other 4 countries are. You're going to put their names here. Now, one of the things I ran into is I was not able to copy this column and put it in and paste it over here. So what I did is I just went back and forth and I typed in 50 all the way through this value of 365 into this column. Okay. So then what you're going to do is go ahead over here and let's say you have the United United States. United States is at a 0 point. Well, let's check it out. What is the U.S. population growth rate? So we'll scroll all the way down here. There's the United States. People and society. Population growth rate is 0.72%. So my percent equivalent for that is 0.072. Excuse me, 0.0072. And then my 10-year percent would be 0.072. So what I would then do is over here, I would write 1.0072. This is for the US. Copy this all the way down. This 10-year rate of change would be this number with a 1 in front of it, so 1.072. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it all down, and once I copy it all down, it should actually take care of changing all of my numbers. Okay? So based on that population growth rate, it looks like the United States population is going to double in 100 years. So then what I would do is I would go ahead and type these values from 50 down here to 100 over here. So under country 2, this is pretty close. I just kind of made these numbers up a little bit. But I would write United States, and then I would type those numbers in like that. Do the same thing for all of the other ones. It's nice to be able to just keep a list over here of your countries that you're working on. And then once you get all this stuff done, is you're going to go year all the way over here to whatever your country 5 is. You've got 0 through 100. You have all of your population figures. Now, one of the things you should do just to make things easy for you with regard to making your graph is if you come up here and you click on this one right here and you highlight that entire row, and then you go to View, you want to freeze that one row. Okay, freezing that one row. Not only if you were entering like a whole bunch of data, watch as I scroll down, see how the headings kind of stay right there, but it also allows for, whenever you create a chart, it allows for the program to recognize that, oh, okay, these are going to be like the things I'm going to label the graphs with, and here's how I'm going to go about labeling my legend when I create a graph. So what you should do is you should come up here, once you have all your data entered like I do, click and hold on year, come all the way down and highlight this very last piece of data. And then over here there's this little graph button that says Insert Chart. You're going to go ahead and you're going to insert that chart, and if you take a look, it actually recognizes that we're dealing with change over time. So we have this legend that shows, hey, here's Kenya, here's the US, country 3, country 4, country 5. Really the only thing that you want to do is you want to change the title. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to customize, and it actually shows up as a line graph, and it shows up exactly as it should, which is great. So we'll customize it, and we'll go to Chart and Axis Titles. The chart title, we could say a comparison of 5 nations and their population growth rate. And then what we'll do is over here on the vertical axis title, we can just make that population, because if you'll notice, the horizontal axis already has its title there. So we can go ahead and close that out. And really what you should do is go up here to these 3 little dots, and we're going to move it to its own sheet. So now what we've got is we have this population, we have this year, we've got all 5 countries, them growing the way that they're growing. Okay, and then what you should do is when you're putting this into your document, you can just copy it. All right. And when you go to put it into your document, here's the Population Growth Lab. Mr. Butler today is going to go through all the other things that you've got to do after you finish this up. But once you finish this up, you're going to insert that growth rate chart, like right here. So we're going to paste. And then what it's going to say is, do we want to link it to the spreadsheet or do we want to paste it unlinked? If you paste it unlinked, it's like putting a JPEG in there. So I recommend doing that. If you've done the graph properly, then you should be good. So we'll just paste it, and boom, there's your graph. Okay. If you have any questions, I'm sure Mr. Butler will be able to help you out. And I hope you all have a good day. Thanks so much.